Alrighty guys, welcome to Unit 3, Cycle 1, Level 2, Infinity. We are going to learn how to write linear equations given a graph. So, to find the equation of a line from a graph. So we've been given a graph, we need to know what the line is. We have two easy steps to help identify that. Step 1 is you're going to identify both the slope of your graph using rise over run. You're also going to identify the y-intercept from the graph. Once you have both of those things, you're able to put them into the very conveniently named slope intercept form of an equation. To find the slope-intercept form, you need the slope and the y-intercept. Makes sense. As a reminder, your slope-intercept form is written as y equals, then you put your slope here, y equals mx plus b, your y-intercept. Remember, m stands for slope, b stands for y-intercept. So let's look at a couple examples. We've been given a graph. We're first going to identify the slope. I'm going to identify m, my slope. So I pick any point I want to. So I'm going to pick the origin. And I'm going to go to another point. So I'm going to go rise over run. Remember, rise over run. So my rise would be up 1. My run would be over 1. 1 over 1 can be simplified to just 1. So my rise over my run in this graph is my slope. So my slope can be written as simply 1. Now my y-intercept is where the line crosses the y-axis. This is my y-axis right here. It goes up and down. So I'm going to try to find where my line crosses my y-axis. It crosses right here at 0, 0. So the y value is 0. So that means my y-intercept is 0. It crosses at 0. Now, if I plug this into y equals mx plus b, now that I've identified the slope, I've identified the y-intercept. Remember, b is y-intercept. Now I'm going to plug this in to my equation. So y equals m is 1. 1 x plus b, my slope, or my y-intercept, excuse me, is 0. Now, I don't really need to keep it like that, right? Because I don't really need this 0 out there. That can go away. And this 1 is before the x, and I don't really keep the 1 when I write it before the x. That's a coefficient before my x, and I don't really need that. That's assumed that it's already there. So my final answer would be y equals x. Now, if you remember, that is our parent function. Our parent function always looks like this on the graph. Our slope is 1, and my y-intercept is 0. So that's my parent function. So that's how you are given a graph, and you can prove that that's the parent function. Okay, so now I'm trying to find the equation of this graph. First of all, identify the slope. The way I identify the slope is I pick any 2 points, and I find the rise over the run. So I'm going to pick this point right here. I'm going to go up. My rise is 1, 2, 3. And my run is 1. So my rise is 3. My run is 1. And that can be simplified to 3. So my slope is 3. Okay. That's my slope. Rise over run. So let's try to find my y-intercept now. My y-intercept is my b. It is where the line crosses the y-axis, where it crosses right here at the origin, just like over here. So again, my y-intercept will be 0. Okay, so I have my slope, I have my y-intercept. Now step 2, I need to write the equation in slope-intercept form. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to write y equals, my slope is 3x plus, my y-intercept is again 0. So again, don't really need to keep that 0 there. That can go away. So I'm just going to write y equals 3x. That 0 can go away. Okay. So that is my equation for that graph. Okay. So let's take a look at number 3. I'm given a graph, and now I need to find the slope and the y-intercept of this one. That's my first step. I need to find the slope and the y-intercept. So the slope, remember, is rise over run. Here, let's pick these points. So this one and this one. My rise, if I go this way, I'm actually going down. So if I'm going down, that would actually make my rise negative. -1. My run is +1. My run is +1. So then my final answer for slope would be -1. I went down 1 over 1. Which makes sense because this is a negative graph. Remember, anytime I go from the top left to the bottom right, that's a negative graph, so it makes sense that I have a negative slope. Now for the y-intercept, we're going to look where this line crosses my y-axis. It crosses it right here at 2. I would count up 1, 2. That is my y-intercept. So my y-intercept is 2. My slope is -1. So let's plug this into the equation as well. I would have y equals -1 x plus 2. Then I would have, essentially, because I have 1 here, I don't really need to write that again. So I can simplify this to y equals -x plus 2. Because I don't really need to keep that 1 there. That's assumed. Okay, so this is now my equation. Y equals -x plus 2. That is in slope-intercept form. Okay, let's try one more. My slope, as a reminder, is rise over run. So I can pick any 2 points along my line. Let's pick this one and this one. So my rise is 1, 2. Rise is 2. Run is 1, 2, 3. This is a positive graph, so it makes sense that I have a positive slope. 2 over 3 is simplified, so my slope is 2 over 3. My y-intercept is where the line crosses the y-axis. So I would go down 1, 2, 3, 4. So my y-intercept is -4. Okay? So to put that all together in step 2, I'm going to write it in slope-intercept form. So y equals, my slope is 2 over 3 x, and then this would be plus -4 to keep consistent with my equation. Now, I can do some simplifying here. When you have a plus and a negative right next to each other, the negative overpowers it. So my final answer would simply be y equals 2/3 x minus 4. I don't need to keep that plus sign there. Okay, so that is how you find slope and y-intercept to give you the slope-intercept form. This is how you find a linear equation if you're given a graph. So as a reminder, first step, you find the slope and the y-intercept. And then you plug it into this equation, y equals mx plus b, and then you should be good to go. You got to find the slope and the y-intercept and plug them in. So flip it over and try the demonstrate side. You guys got this. You're smart. You're awesome. Believe in you. Y'all are awesome. Have fun.